Hello, brunchers. So I have just arrived at the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia for the BlackStar Film Festival. I just picked up my press pass. It's beautiful to see all of these wonderful brown faces coming in, and I'm just ready to get into our first event. I can't wait to share all of this with you. This is Brunch, Blaze, and Babble,
where we eat, elevate, and talk about
media trends from the past,
the present,
and the future
from a Black perspective.
I'm your host, Roger Turner.
And I'm your host, Alexus Bertrand.
So sit back,
spark up,
and let's get into it.
Hey, brunchers. I'm so excited for today's conversation. Our very own Roger Turner got to hang out at the BlackStar Film Festival in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Even though I didn't get a chance to go, I have been dying to hear all that it was and hear about Roger's experience. And we thought one of the best ways we could wrap up this season of Brunch, Blaze, and Babble was just to talk about that experience with Roger. So if you've never gone to the BlackStar Film Festival, you are in for a treat because Roger is here to break it down for all of us today. So I'm so excited. Thank you, Roger, for doing this. And let's just get right into it, okay?
Alexus has done a great job of preparing us and setting us up for today's episode. So first, I had a great brunch. It was delicious. I am only at about a 4.5 on a scale of 1 to 10 of how I am because I have other stuff to do. Anyway, let's get started.
Well, first question is, the BlackStar Film Festival has often been referred to as Black Sundance. And not that it needs that accolade of being known as the Black Sundance Film Festival, but it is held in high regard. Can you tell us a little bit about the BlackStar Film Festival, its origin, and just kind of shape the whole scene for us?
Okay, so no one can talk about the BlackStar Film Festival without talking about Maori Carmel Holmes, founder and chief executive artistic officer. Maori is this brilliant filmmaker of her own right. She's has a long resume of working with the Anthology Film Archives, the Museum of Contemporary Art at Los Angeles, Penn Live Arts at Annenberg Center, the Underground Museum, Whitney Museum. The list goes on and on and on. She's worked with directors such as Terrence Nance. She has a huge resume. But about 14 years ago, it is 2025. So 13 years ago, BlackStar Film Festival was started in 2012. So think of very talented, very thought-provoking art and film and just beautiful film. Just think of someone as Maori with her extensive background. And then I want to talk a little bit about Maori's personality. There is a morning show that happens at the BlackStar Film Festival every morning called The Daily Jong. One of the hosts is Maori. And Maori Holmes is just a very funny and engaging and beautiful human being. And think of that in the context of community and film and make it the blackest thing ever. BlackStar Film Festival happens in Black August. It coincides with the weekend of James Baldwin's birthday. BlackStar gets its name from Marcus Garvey's Black Star line. The consciousness around it is Black as possible, but it's also not just films by Black American directors, but from the African diaspora, as well as Indigenous, brown, and marginalized groups that would not otherwise have a platform that fit within the Black consciousness. So it's just a Black-ass time. And to call it Sundance, I've been to Sundance and have been bored out of my mind. I had the best time at BlackStar. If you love film and you love cinema, you will get the best of the best. I saw probably over 20 films during the course of 4 days. And I didn't go to the films that everyone was talking about. I tried to go to some of the other films, the films that not everyone was talking about. Even those were engaging, thought-provoking, and just really beautiful. I walked away from those films oh, I can't wait for more people to see these, and oh, I want to see that again. But combine that feeling around films and put it in just like the blackest city possible. Like Philadelphia, if you've not been to Philly, is a black ass city. Like I walked up and down Patti LaBelle Way. How many cities have a Patti LaBelle Way? And like our hotel, like the skin products in the hotel were called Who is Elijah? Just like really like black stuff like that. Tony K. Bambara, if you don't know who she is, Google her. When describing Maori, people have said, you're like Tony K. Bambara. Her work was deep, but also funny and hip and stylish. And I don't disagree. A lot of those qualities I saw in Maori and I saw within the BlackStar Film Festival. It was just a good black ass time. If you are an artist, if you're a filmmaker, I can see how walking away from this festival, you feel nurtured and inspired. I felt that way. I'm not even a filmmaker. I don't work in film at all, but I felt that way when I left. I hope that answers your question. But yeah, that is BlackStar Film Festival in a nutshell.
So I think you mentioned right, the festival takes place over a number of days. So aesthetically, what is the vibe there? What is the scene, the people there? And how did you feel being in that space as press and as just someone who's a lover of Black film and media?
So I felt very much in community. So I talked to different filmmakers and different workers within film, and some of them were like, I haven't had as much time to be able to see as many films as you have seen because I'm working in film, so I'm here to, talk to people and connect with people. I heard it described as almost like homecoming. Like there are people that they work with but don't get to see all the time, or that are in the industry with them. And it kind of felt like that. Like you didn't go to Howard, but you like going to Howard homecoming. It's kind of like that. It's like going to a thing where blackness is celebrated. So that was kind of the vibe. People felt comfortable coming to me or asking me why I was there and asking me if I was a filmmaker, or everyone asked questions about each other. It was a very beautiful environment. And even for people that are just like, I just come here because I love film and I wanted to like catch what's coming out and I want to be able to see what's happening. It felt loving, black as hell, and just exciting. There was just a vibration of excitement and love for film.
What's really awesome about the film festival is that there is tons and tons of rich Black and brown and Indigenous content. And I think you mentioned to me that you were able to see 20 different films. Tell us, how did you choose that? How did you map out your days to know what you were picking and what was going to be relevant or salient for you? Like, tell us a bit about that process.
Well, I started looking at what our audience would want to watch. So I know a lot of our audience are maybe not cinephiles, but they just don't want to keep watching what's been fed to us. It's film festival season, and there's a lot of films that are like being pitched as what's going to be like the next Oscar nominated film or whatever. And I'm not really interested in watching a lot of those films, and I feel like our audience is the same. So I focused on looking at like featured narratives and documentaries. I didn't get to watch a lot of shorts, which I hope to go back and see more shorts when I go back next year, because sometimes shorts become larger projects and they're beautiful in and of themselves. So I didn't get to see those. I mentioned earlier the morning talk show that they have called The Daily John. And the Daily John is a morning show where they sit around and they talk to directors, they talk to festival programmers and organizers to talk about what you be looking at, or they try to highlight different things that are happening at the film festival. And that kind of helped navigate like what I wanted to watch that day, because it gave me a hip to, okay, I thought I was going to look at this thing, but I just listened to this director and I kind of want to see his or her or their film. So that was a big help. So between, focusing on what our audience wanted to possibly watch and look and going to the Daily Dawn every day helped me walk around through the festival.
My next question is, so after experiencing all that you experienced, tell us some of your favorite moments at the film festival.
Okay, so my favorite moments at the film festival, there's so many. That is really hard to break it down. I watched the first film that was actually on the schedule. Listen to the voices. There's a French title. That is the English translation of the French title that I will not try to massacre right now. It's a documentary by director Maxime Jean-Baptiste. The documentary basically chronicles this young boy named Melrick. Melrick is visiting his grandmother in French Guiana, and during that summer vacation with his grandmother, he's learning two things. One, he's learning the music and his part in this festival that happens in his family's hometown every year. And it's a celebration of culture and music. And also he's learning about a tragedy that happened to his family that has forever affected his family. Melrick actually lives in France with his mother. And so I believe he's in 8th grade, and it's the summer before he's supposed to go on to ninth grade. And he is talking to his grandmother, and he wants to spend all of his time there in Guyana. He wants to hey, I'm hoping that I don't have to go back to school and I can just spend the rest of the year here, because he loves it there, on the island with his friends from the summer. But there's this undertone of his grandmother loves him. She wants him to stay. But then at the same time, there's this understanding that it's probably not safe for him to live there throughout the year. And because of the town that they're in, kind of has a very violent gang history. And it turns out that his family dynamic is changed by that. So that is the documentary. But it doesn't feel like a documentary. I watched that forgetting I'm watching a documentary. It is the most beautifully laid out story or documentation of a story that feels like you're watching a narrative. It feels so personal. It feels like you're in their life and in their story. You almost forget that you're watching a documentary, but it also feels very real. It doesn't feel staged. It doesn't feel like reality TV type documentation, orchestrated. It feels very much oh, this is his life. I'm there. So it was beautifully told. It's I felt the tragedy and the pull and it just pulled at my heartstrings. It made me fall in love with this little boy and his grandmother's relationship. There was a lot of tones to it that felt very close to home for me. So that was the first film I watched. And I was like, wow, I got 4 more days of this. And that was one of my favorite moments. Some of my other moments are just interacting with filmmakers and artists. They're film distributors, and they were looking for new films. Just seeing just the inner community that lives within film, and hearing side conversations, or hearing film technicians talking to each other and commiserating over what's happening to Black film in this time period, and how they're now navigating this new landscape, and how they've come to organize and to network with each other around what are next steps, what they could do. I was ear hustling most of this, and it was just great to hear all of those things and those conversations, and to know that there was a place for artists to come and do that. I loved being at the music documentaries. I saw 3 music documentaries. Move Your Body, which was about the history of house music. The Sixth Borough, which chronicles the hip hop artists that came from Long Island, New York, that changed the direction and sound of early hip hop. And the last was We Want the Funk, which chronicles the history of funk music from James Brown all the way down to Funk's Babies, which they believe are like house and hip hop.
That just really sounds like so much amazing, thought provoking, fresh content. I love that. We talk a lot about just wanting to see more of a rich collection of just Black and brown and Indigenous filmmaking, and it just sounds like this is the place to go. Are there any films, or which film or films left a really lasting, deep impression on you, and why? What was that impression that it made on you?
Okay, so the film that left a lasting impression, so many of them did. Like I can't, like I said before, it's really hard to like pick amongst all of the great films that I saw. But I'm going to go to a documentary. It was a feature documentary called Third Act. Now, Third Act is by filmmaker Tadashi Nakamura. Tadashi, or Tad, is the son of legendary filmmaker Robert A. Nakamura, who is considered the godfather of Asian American media. The film starts out as Tad trying to set the record straight around his father's legacy to Asian American film. And during the filming of the documentary, his father has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And the film starts to turn toward not just Robert Nakamura's legacy, but also the relationship between father and son and their idea of what legacy and how that differentiates, and how they came to film separately and as father and son. And then also how now Tad thinks about legacy as he talks about his father with his son. It was really moving. I actually get a little emotional thinking about the movie because immediately after the movie ended, it just so happened that my father called me right after. And it kind of also had me thinking about like legacy and like the questions that I have about like my father's history and then my grandfather and how they related, and like how that legacy changes with me, and how I will affect the world with my legacy, because I don't have children and I won't be having children. And it really hits the tones around grief, fatherhood, legacy, family, history. So I really enjoyed that film. That really emotionally hit me, and it hit place comfortable. It also is not a downer. Like as I describe this film, it can feel like this movie can be a downer, but the movie is actually really inspiring. It really inspired me to really reach out and talk to my family. One of the other ones was another documentary called The Debutantes. The Debutantes is exactly what it's about. So it follows the cotillion that used to exist in a small town called Canton, Ohio, but after years of it being defunct, it is brought back basically because they felt like there needed to be more programming for young Black girls. And they wanted to change the cotillion culture to actually address the needs and challenges for Black girls of the 21st century. And it starts out really well, really good, but then it takes a turn because there are also traditions of respectability that the cotillion organizers were holding on to that these young girls challenged. It was just really interesting how they wanted to break narrative norms for young Black girls, but then there were these traditions of respectability, heteronormativity, patriarchy that they were holding on to that that did not serve these young girls, that they would not change. And it was just interrogating that was really great. And I just loved watching that film and that interrogation. And yeah, those were the films that were like really stuck out to me.
Now, I know you didn't get to experience everything at the film festival. Sounds like there was so much more you could have seen. Just given what you did see, though, was there anything missing from that experience, or something you would have liked to see or see more of that you didn't get to see at the film festival?
You know, I'm not an expert on film festivals, but from my experience, it was a pretty perfect experience. I don't think the film festival itself was missing anything. I think it makes itself very accessible to the everyday consumer of film, the novice, but it also is very nurturing for the artist as well. Some of the things that I missed, I missed seeing the shorts. I didn't get to see any of the shorts. I didn't get to go to all of the panel discussions, which seemed amazing. They had a morning yoga slow down and stretch that would happen every morning, which I thought was a really great start. Besides the Daily John, every afternoon at 3:30 there was a guided wellness space with a licensed clinical social worker that helped people just navigate what they had just seen throughout the day, which I thought was really important. I wish I had put more time in my schedule to go to those. I wish I had been able to spend more time in stuff outside of the film. Yeah, I think the only thing that would make it better is if they'd have less films, which is stupid. Or I think the only thing we're missing is that I wish there was more time to do more things. Like, if the film festival was a week instead of 4 days, that would be amazing. Like, I left there feeling like there was stuff that I missed, and I wish I could go back and see and go back and do. And the only thing that was missing was that I just didn't want to. I wish it was longer. That's it.
And finally, what are your final thoughts? Like, now that you've experienced this, you've come home, you've had some time, like, sit with the movie, sit with all that you've heard, everyone that you've connected with. What is your takeaway? What are your final thoughts about the BlackStar Film Festival? Would you recommend others going? Would you attend again?
My final thoughts around BlackStar Film Festival is that if you love film, want to see more than just what we have marketed to us or pushed to us on a daily basis, go to BlackStar Film Festival. It is a great experience. It is a great experience if you're Black. It is a great experience if you're not Black. It's a great experience if you just love film. One of the other things that I really pulled from this is that a lot of the filmmakers are looking for distribution. A lot of what filmmakers have been told is, there just isn't an audience for this film. There isn't an audience. And there were so many people at that film festival. I did not go to empty theaters. I was watching these films with at least, 50 people in these theaters, at least. And I know if any of those people are like me, I know at least 50 people at home that are not at this festival that would enjoy watching this film. So if I'm thinking that, then there's definitely audiences for those films. It really made me want to, as someone that enjoys film, that enjoys media, it made me really want to seek out more avenues for people of color or people that live on the intersection to find more films that represent us, that interest us. And I think BlackStar really pushed me to want to look for those things and like introduce those things to our audience. Something that someone said to me a long time ago that I still say for myself, and I try to keep this attitude, that I like to treat my dollar like my vote. I want to pay for things that I want to see more of. I don't want to waste my money on things that treats me as invisible. BlackStar has really inspired me to seek out those things a little more often, and that it really has BlackStar is also but BlackStar has renewed my faith in the idea that there's more out there other than what we are being fed. You get told the lie so often that you start to question what the truth is. If you're a bruncher and you're listening to this podcast and you're on your way to working in a white space or coming from working in a white space where you're being told that or being sold the idea that white culture is the predominant culture, it simply is just not true. There are more work out there that you are interested in, that you will see yourself, that you will enjoy. It will be more than just what white people want to see of us. It won't be dumbed down. It won't have to be trauma porn. It can be by us, for us as well. So, yeah, that's what BlackStar has done for me.
Well, brunchers, there you have it. Our very own Roger Turner breaking it down, laying it out for us. The BlackStar Film Festival. I'm excited. I've learned so much, and I can't wait to see a lot of these productions. Brunchers, listen, as they come out, I know we'll be sharing on our cast when all of these drop. Make sure you check these out. It's just amazing. And I'm so grateful to you, Roger, for agreeing to do this interview. And I just love that you did this. And thank you so much.
Yeah, brunchers, thank you for listening to today's episode. I'm sure Alexus wants you to be good and be good at it. And I want you to know that you are enough just as you are. Thank you all for listening.